You know what's interesting? People are wanting foresight. They want to know what's coming. And we say, you're the creator of your own reality. What's your problem? And you say, well, I want to know what's coming. And we say, again, you're the creator of your own reality. What's the problem? And then if they dig a little deeper, what they'll say is, well, I'm a sloppy thinker. And so we say, well, then you're going to have a lot of variety as it comes. You're going to get what you want, and you're going to get what you don't want, and you're going to get some of all of it. And they'll say, well, I know that, and I want to know what's coming. And we say, rather than ask what's coming, why not control what's coming? Why not decide what's coming? Why not contemplate what's coming? Why not get stable and then think about it? Because if you are feeling frustrated or worried and you start anticipating what's coming, you're not going to like it when it gets there. But if you are all frisky and tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're feeling good about life and happy about life, you're going to like what comes when it gets there, you see. And so what we're really talking about is maintenance of now. Maintenance of now. And what maintenance of now means is awareness of your relationship between the two aspects of you. Maintenance of that relationship. So every now and again, we'll see Esther responding to something that's happening in life experience and then immediately being aware of what she's feeling and stopping and saying to herself, Esther, is this really the point of attraction that you want to enhance and foster right now? And sometimes it really is not. And then she'll just laugh and say, of course not. And then if she's caught it early enough, which she's doing mostly these days, then she will identify what feeling she's wanting to reach for. She flew a different airline on Friday because it was a direct flight from San Diego, where she was, to here. And she had not flown that airline before. So she wasn't sure where it was, and she wasn't sure where it was in relationship to the valet parker where she was leaving her car. So she had a little bit of uneasiness, and then she felt that uneasiness, and she said to herself, driving the 20 minutes from her house to the airport, Esther, is uneasiness the emotion you're wanting to foster? And she laughed. No, I like the feeling of knowing that I'll figure it out as I go. I'm a stable person who can read signs. There's going to be a sign that says where this airline is. And there's going to be a sign showing me where the valet parker is for that terminal, whatever it is. And there's going to be a sign showing me which way to go once I've got out of my car. In other words, I don't have to know everything. There is guidance along the way. There's always guidance along the way. So Esther's coming from her sleeping room. A nice man met her at her door and guided her down a very convoluted route to get to the backstage area. And as Esther got back there, she thought, well, now I'm here, but I don't know how to get out of here. I don't know how to go to the bathroom. I don't know how to get back to my room. I'm here, but I don't think I'm just going to want to be here all of these hours. I think I'm going to want to go other places. And then she thought, I should have asked him to show me. And then she thought, well, I can figure it out. She stepped outside into the hallway again, and a very nice woman was there. And Esther said, could you show me? And the woman took her right there. And Esther thought, help is always on the way. Help is always on the way. Help is always on the way. But an even better statement, help is right here all the time. You are not ever justified in any feelings of insecurity. That's just sloppy thinking. You are not justified in any thoughts of insecurity. You are not justified in any thoughts of hatred. That's just sloppy thinking. That's just deciding almost belligerently that you're not going to go the way you're in. All right, inner being, I know you love them. I don't, and here's why. And here are all the reasons that you shouldn't love them either. Your inner being's not ever going to join you in those thoughts. And after a little while, if you really care about feeling good, you begin to notice that your inner being is stubborn about remembering who you are and remembering what you want, and about showing you the path of least resistance to that. And if you're allowing yourself to care about the way you feel, well, then off you go, always in the direction of what you want. We want to remind you that satisfaction comes from only one place. And that is having a desire, big or small, and moving in the direction of it. And dissatisfaction is having a desire, big or small, and moving away from it. But it's bigger than moving to desire and moving away from desire. It is that, but it's even more than that. It's moving toward your inner being who is focused on your desire, or moving away from your inner being who's focused on your desire. It's bigger than that. It's like this. It's being a cooperative component to what you've asked for, or being an uncooperative component to what you've asked for. As you get the hang of this, you begin to realize that you can calibrate yourself in more and more and more moments to who you really are. And what happens, then you get a momentum going. Then every segment yields more of what you want, which means happily ever after, happily ever after. Every segment yields more of what you want, happily ever after, happily ever after. Every segment yields more of what you want, until before you know it, you acknowledge yourself as the blessed being that you are. You acknowledge yourself as the being who is seen by Source, and cared about by Source, and listened to by Source, and supported by Source. And once you start feeling like that, then the way the people who are around you who haven't figured this out yet, who are still having knee-jerk reactions to the injustice that they feel that they are living, so they're standing in their unjust feeling moment, sort of lashing out at you. Esther always liked that cartoon that she saw years ago, where the boss yells at the man, and the man yells at his wife, and his wife yells at the kid, and the kid kicks the dog. It's sort of the chain of pain. And so there are a lot of people that are living a sort of chain of pain, but you won't be one of them. You're someone who is tuned to who you really are, standing in a place of stability no matter what is going on.
I'm ready to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready.
So we used to say that a lot, getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And now we'd just like to say, I'm ready, because ready to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready feeds your appetite to get to where you really want to go.
I'm ready.
We want you to just be as ready as you are, and happy about how ready you are, because that's how your inner being feels. Your inner being feels really good about how ready you are, how ready you are, how ready you are. Where you are is just right. And you know why? Where you are is enough. You know why? Because you can't attract beyond where you are. So it's got to be enough. Do you get that? It's got to be okay where you are, because you can't be other than where you are. And because your inner being is never judging you about being in a wrong place. So when you're unhappy about where you are, you know what the problem is? You're crossways of your inner being, who never ever says you're not where you're supposed to be. Did you get that? Here's another piece to this. You're right here where you can hear this, because we can feel you. You've come right along, because we've been talking about what you already know, and then we talk about what you already know, so you're right up to speed. Every one of you, you are knowing what we are knowing right now about this. So let's take it just one step further so that you can really feel benefit moving forward out of this day. A friend earlier talked about there's this perspective and this perspective and this perspective, and we teased and we said there are endless perspectives. So let's talk about some perspectives here. Just a really clean, clear, easy way for you to approach this moment in time, this moment in time, this moment in time. You can be observing or considering a condition or an outcome, like a person, a bank account number, the condition of your house or relationship. You can be considering that aspect of life. And it's logical to be in a physical human body with your senses that you would do that. You can also be considering your vibrational relationship with your inner being right now. So if you start getting in the habit of tending to your vibrational reality rather than your manifested reality, can you feel the difference? Let's say that you hear a funny sound in your car and you worry that it's getting ready to break down. So you're focused upon a condition that you're having a response to. Naturally you would. But let's say that rather than responding to conditions and letting the condition evoke your emotional response, Let's say you've decided to get out ahead of everything and you've decided to take charge of your emotional response. So you're looking at your emotional response rather than letting your emotional response be a knee-jerk reaction to a condition. Can you hear this? So you hear the funny knock, knock, knock in your car, and you start to feel a soft wafting of insecurity coming over you, but you don't let it take hold. Instead, you say, I have really good timing in my life and I can take care of this. You say, things always work out for me. You could even say, this has been a really stable vehicle. You could even say, everything works out well for me. You could even say, all is well here. You could say, there's nothing serious going on here. You could say, I am stable, I'm secure. And our point is that if you will stay there and focus there until you really feel that, then the outcome will please you. We've said to Jerry and Esther as they were moving around in their monster buses, and even all of this lovely merry band that gets on airplanes and in the van that holds all the equipment, they're moving around a lot from place to place to place to place to rendezvous with you, and they always get there. And everything always turns out wonderful. And it isn't that there are not things that they have to deal with, but things always do turn out. And when you decide to know that, and you decide to acknowledge that, and you decide to let that be the dominant vibration that you're offering, then the current condition becomes less and less of a significant factor in your life experience. And that is such an important thing for this reason. Do you know what the predominant culprit, which is a hindrance to you getting what you want, is? Do you know what the culprit or the hindrance to the more that you're asking for, do you know what it is? It's what is. Because what is in a state of becoming more all the time. And if you are fascinated and so verbal about describing what is, then you're not allowing the universe to yield to you the new improved version that you've already asked for. So what step 5 really is standing in this place of understanding that it's always going to be changing and it's always going to be more, and that the vibrational version is always an improved version of what is. And if you can not be so enamored with what is, and so verbal about what is, and so interested in getting everybody else to agree with you about what is, and you can be more emotional based, where you care about how you feel first and foremost, so that you're giving yourself and others the benefit of the doubt. So you're looking for the positive aspects in things. So you're reaching for the thought that feels better. What begins to happen is you just feel good and 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 feel good, feel good and feel good. This can take a while, and feel good and feel good and feel good. And others look at you and they say, why do you feel so good all the time? And you say, because I decided to. And that twists their brain into a knot. What do you mean? I've decided to feel good too, but something went wrong with my car and I had a fight with my lover and you say, oh, I'm way past that. I don't let the details of my current life mess up where I'm going. This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.